You're here right now because something inside you finally got loud. Not in a dramatic movie scene way, more like a quiet pressure that's been building for months, maybe years, and today it's just too much to carry, like nothing's wrong. You might not even have the perfect words for it. Still, you can feel it. Life is starting to feel like a shirt that used to fit, and now it's tight in all the wrong places. You're still wearing it, still moving around, still smiling when you're supposed to, but you can't breathe in it anymore. And here's the uncomfortable part. Your life might look fine. Maybe you did what you were told. You built something stable. You kept your promises. You stayed responsible. You kept the peace. You followed the rules of being a good person. Yet deep down you're tired in a way sleep won't fix. Not because you're lazy, not because you're ungrateful, because you've been living from the outside in, like you've been acting in a play where the audience claps, but you can't remember why you ever accepted the role. Carl Jung called the mask you wear the persona, the version of you built to survive, to fit in, to be accepted. Useful, yes, necessary sometimes. But Jung also warned that unconscious adaptation to an inauthentic life is one of the quietest disasters a person can live through. Quiet, because nothing explodes. You don't crash your car. You don't lose everything overnight. You just fade, slowly, one ordinary day at a time, and then one day you wake up and realize you've been present for everyone else's expectations, but absent from your own soul. So if you've been feeling that internal crack, like who you are and who you've been pretending to be can't stay fused together anymore, please hear this clearly. You're not falling apart for no reason. Something real is trying to begin. A deeper part of you is basically saying, enough, we're not doing this forever. And the fact that you're watching this right now, that's not random. When the conscious mind runs out of answers, the unconscious starts pushing symbols into your life like breadcrumbs, a conversation, a line in a book, a moment that hits you in the chest, a video like this, showing up when you're right on the edge of admitting the truth. People love telling you to get back to normal, as if normal is automatically healthy, as if normal didn't create the suffocation in the first place. Someone will say you just need a vacation, a new routine, a pill, a productivity hack, a quick mindset shift. And sure, those things can help with surface-level stress. But you know what you're dealing with isn't surface level. This isn't a bad week. It's a deeper exhaustion, the kind that comes when your life is technically functioning, but your spirit feels like it's living in a locked room. Jung noticed something most people don't want to hear. The psyche produces suffering as a mechanism of transition, not because it enjoys tormenting you, but because it's trying to move you. When the ego, the part of you that wants control and safety, refuses change, the unconscious gets louder. Anxiety, insomnia, irritability, numbness, sudden sadness, the feeling of being off for no clear reason. Those aren't always malfunctions. Sometimes they're signals. Like a smoke alarm isn't the enemy, it's the thing telling you something is burning. Think about it like this. Imagine living in a house where one room has been filling with gas for years, but you've gotten used to the smell. You light candles anyway. You keep cooking dinner. You invite guests over. You pretend everything's fine. Then one day you can't ignore it anymore. Your eyes burn, your chest tightens, your body starts reacting. Is your body betraying you? Or is your body finally refusing to cooperate with the lie? Pain isn't always punishment. Sometimes it's your soul's way of refusing to keep dying quietly. Now, if you feel like you're breaking, look closer. What's breaking might not be you. What's cracking is the old character you created to survive. The one who keeps everyone happy. The one who stays quiet. The one who says yes when the truth is no. That shell kept you safe, but now it's squeezing you like armor that never comes off. And here's where it gets real. The pain is the threshold. Resist it, and it becomes chronic suffering. Listen to it, and it becomes initiation. Not comfortable, not glamorous, but real and necessary. Around this point, something strange starts happening. Not magic in a cheesy way, more like a pattern. You start noticing that the right messages keep showing up at the right time. A book lands in your hands that feels like it's reading you. A song hits a nerve you didn't know was exposed. Someone says one sentence and it rearranges something in your mind. Jung called this synchronicity, meaningful coincidence, not because reality is trying to entertain you, but because your inner world is shifting. An outer reality starts mirroring the shift, almost like a lake reflecting a storm forming above it. Jung also said something that should make you pause. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. That line matters here because you're at the point where fate starts feeling negotiable. Not because life suddenly becomes easy, but because you're beginning to see the machinery behind your patterns. The people-pleasing, the fear of disappointing your parents, the job you tolerate because it's secure, the relationship that looks fine on paper but drains you in private, the habits you use to numb out, all the little compromises that once felt like maturity but now feel like betrayal. And then fear shows up, big time, not just nervousness, fear like a gatekeeper, fear like a guard dog, fear like an ancient creature standing at the entrance of your next life, growling, "You sure you want to come in?" Jung compared this moment to facing the inner dragon, the archetype that represents every doubt and resistance at the threshold of change. The dragon will tell you you're crazy. It'll whisper that you're unprepared. It'll show you worst-case scenarios in high definition. It'll remind you of every time you failed, every time you were judged, every time you lost something. Because if you cross that threshold, the old you, the one built purely for survival, has to die symbolically, and the ego fears symbolic death more than pain. But here's the twist, and you already know this deep down. Fear isn't always a stop sign. Sometimes fear is a compass. Fear points toward the place where your life has been waiting for you. There's an old idea found in different traditions, basically saying the same thing in different clothes. Where you fear to go, there your treasure lies. Jung would call it a portal guarded by dread, a sacred doorway, and the only way out is through. No one feels 100% ready. Nobody leaps with a perfect plan. People leap because they finally get tired of pretending, tired of shrinking, tired of living a life that makes them sick. You don't need certainty. You need honesty, the kind that says, "I don't know what comes next, but I can't stay here." Here's the hardest truth, and weirdly, it's also the one that can set you free. No one is coming to save you. Not a partner, not a boss, not a guru, not a perfect book, not even another video. Waiting for rescue is a childhood spell a lot of adults never break. Jung would say, it's the wounded child still hoping someone else will finally make life feel safe. But you're not that child anymore. You're the one who has to choose. Radical responsibility doesn't mean blaming yourself for what happened to you. It means refusing to stay trapped because of what happened to you. Pain might not have been your fault. Healing is still your responsibility. So if this found you at the exact moment you needed it, take it seriously. Not with panic, just with presence. Something in you already knows the old life is ending. The old ways, the old compromises, the old version of you that stayed small to keep peace. And you're standing at that invisible line where your real life begins, on the other side of fear,